minority. Uh, we were treated differently by teachers, by white students. We was always looked at as more aggressive or angry. Uh, we would do the same thing as white students and get punished more harshly than those students for the same, for the same ans under the same circumstance. We could do the same thing and we get punished harsher than white students. So it was just things like that helped me shape my racial identity. Let me know we were different than white people or any other people, because we had other, you know, cultures at our school. We had Hispanics, Asians. There was other cultures at that school, but it was mostly white. Um, a time when I experienced institutionalized racism, uh, like I talked about in a other video. I have been, harassed by law enforcement throughout my life. Uh, like I can name many instances when I was younger, getting pulled over by law enforcement, asking, what type of work I do, where I'm going, uh, asked to search my car. They might pull me over for a seatbelt, or they might pull me over, for not turning, putting on the turn light. Or they might just pull me over and not tell me a reason. It always be asking to search my car and my vehicle. You just getting pulled over, harassed. Uh, it was one incident, in college. I was in Montgomery, Alabama. I was getting my BSW, and I was on my way to class, and a cop did a U-turn in traffic. He was in the other lane, and he did a U-turn in traffic and went around two cars to pull me over for he said a seatbelt. Say I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. I actually had it on, but I had my up under my arm. But anyway, he pulled me over for a seatbelt, and then he questioned me on where I was going, and my age, and different things, without this, and then asked for my license, and then he pulled me over for a seatbelt, but he asked to search my car. So I said, "Why do you need to search my car? You don't need to search my car." And he said some more things, some racist things. Then he asked me, why you don't want me to search your car? You must have a dead baby in the car. And that incident always stuck out to me. And I wasn't, aware of the laws then, or I didn't have the knowledge I do of laws and my rights as a citizen. So I let them search my car because it made me nervous, and I just didn't understand incidents like that. But I was used to it by that point. I had already had incidents before then with law enforcement, so that's just part of life. Of being black. You always have to worry about law enforcement. Of them harassing you or looking at you differently. And it was even growing up. It was a couple incidents. When law enforcement was called. You know, I remember one particular incident. It was a domestic violence incident with my mom. She was, getting beat on, and police were called, and they never came. Called twice, and they never came. And it's just things like that that I'll never forget. I can also talk about another incident that happened. It was recently after I had graduated high school, me and another friend was waiting on our friend. We went to pick up our friend at his girlfriend's house, and the girlfriend stayed in a suburban state neighborhood that was mostly white. So we pulled up outside the house waiting, and we had only been there like 6 minutes, and next thing we know, a squadron of police cars pull up, pull their guns out, tell us to put our hands on the steering wheel, and we didn't know what was going on. We was shocked, so of course we, you know, obeyed and we did everything. And luckily, our friend and his girlfriend came outside to explain the situation. And what happened was, one of the people, neighbors, had reported that they had seen two suspicious black men outside our house, looking like they were getting ready to rob. And like I said, we had only been out there like 6 or 7 minutes, so you know, the the police came fast, and they were very aggressive with us. They didn't want to hear anything we had to say, and it just, like I said, one of many instances that I had with law enforcement that I feel like it was, well, I know it was based off racism and discrimination. I think one thing that I can do as a social worker and applying critical race theory is, I watched a video of Kimberly Crenshaw talking about black women, being killed by law enforcement. And a lot of those women, most of those women, I didn't even know anything about. And, I consider myself, you know, pretty aware, especially of things like that. And I didn't even know of those women. And it just goes to show, how the media, and people overall, the lack of respect and disregard of black women and black people in general, but especially women. And that bothers me. Uh, I'm the son of a black woman, the brother of a black woman. My girlfriend is a black woman. My son's mother is a black woman. Cousins, friends, all black women. So it bothers me a lot, how they're treated in this country and how they looked at as less than, even, in a lot of cases, less than, black men. And I feel like it's my job, as a black man, as a social worker, to make people aware of what's going on, injustices that's going on with black women, and to bring attention to make sure they're getting equal treatment and equal rights, and the same awareness is being brought to what's going on with them, uh, as well as what's going on with black men. Black men, it should be equal treatment as far as how it's covered. You know, it should be something done about it. You know, and it's unfortunate, and I think it's our job as black men, to do our part to make sure people are aware and that we're respecting and you know bringing attention to black women and playing our part and not contributing to any issues or problems or how they're looked at in general. So it's up to us to be put out a positive image and empower black women, and uplift them and have their back and have their support just like they support us. So that's very important to me, and that's something I can do to play my part in critical race theory, and also other oppressed and discriminated cultures in this country, indigenous people, Latinx people, Asians, all the issues they go through and the problems they face, in this country. It's important, for us to, recognize their culture and learn about their culture, for us to come together, and I hope, people in the dominant culture, sympathize and, recognize, the struggles we go through and the culture. Uh, Thank you everyone for listening to me. I'm glad I could share. I hope this answer all the questions.